Hello, everyone. We've come to the end of this course on manned area systems. I believe that we've all gained insight into UAS and its operations through the weekly discussions, quizzes, explanations, and demonstrations from our professor. Okay, let me get straight into my presentation. My topic is urban air mobility, the present and the future. To begin with, I'm going to talk about UAM and its requirements and some of the risks and opportunities. I'll also talk about UAM integration with the current transport system. Here's a summary of what to expect in my presentation as I mentioned. The aviation industry is one of the fastest growing industries globally. For an industry that connects cities, countries, and continents, it is essential for development and advancement to constantly occur. The concept of UAM is a collaborative idea of both government and private sectors to ensure that passengers and cargo can be conveniently transported using electric aerial vehicles within the urban environment. Implementing UAM requires several aspects to be addressed, like infrastructure, design of the aerial vehicle, air traffic control, and regulatory and legal compliance. Among all these requirements, developing and improving regulatory and legal framework is essential for UAM to be successfully established. UAV, just like every emerging technology, requires regulatory interventions. The Federal Aviation Administration is pressing to integrate UAM into the national airspace system by imposing several regulatory measures to ensure safe production and operation of services. The regulations include providing airworthiness certificates for UAVs, a proposed examination requirements for potential UAV pilots, and flight zone limitations, which will prevent the risks of radio communication between the UAV and the control system. Apart from the regulations, the crew must comply with comprehensive training to prevent hazards during operations. The design of the aerial vehicle is also a critical requirement to ensure that it suits the production and operation certification standard for vertical takeoff and landing, and its technical improvement to maximize awareness and increase market penetration. UAM operations require adapting air traffic control and construction of new infrastructure and technical improvements of existing facilities such as heliports and airports for successful takeoff and landing. Vertiports and appropriate passenger terminals are the crucial ground infrastructures required for the materialization of UAM concepts, including energy or charging provisions, maintenance, and storage. Operating UAM could come with some potential risks, which include technical malfunction. This can lead to aircraft crashing. Building collision is also a possibility because of the altitude at which they operate. If an aerial vehicle collides with a building, it could result in human injury, property, or aircraft damage. Loss of connection between drone and operator can lead to the same incident results as building collision. The potential consequences of hackers gaining access will result in data theft or other offensive activities. Talking about challenges, there are several challenges affecting the implementation of UAM, such as environmental factors like the weather conditions and noise pollution. Then we have human related parameters like social awareness. For example, some elderly passengers, kids, and people with disabilities could face physical and cognitive limitations. Example of trip related issues include safety, reliability, the cost of the trip, and its the distance. Then we have transport operational issues like working hours. Also, since UAM is a new mode of air transportation, developing standard procedures and certification and property rights of operations is also a challenge. On the other hand, the implementation of UAM will serve as an opportunity to solve the issues of traffic congestion in urban areas. Considering the design, automation, propulsion system, and vertical takeoff and landing capabilities, UAVs contributes hugely to zero emission policy compared to the traditional airplanes powered by jet engines using fuel. It will reduce negative environmental impact by eliminating greenhouse gases and reducing air pollution, resulting in ecological sustainability. Additionally, it can be a better choice for e-commerce using communication network infrastructure like 5G access to enable faster delivery and shipment as compared to the traditional freight forwarding and logistics service providers. How is UAM complementary or a competitor to the current transportation systems, which are the air, water, and land transportation? Let's move to the next slide for further details. It is anticipated that UAM operations will interact with the existing transport systems, making it either a competitor or a complementary service operator depending on the type of trip being considered by the passenger. Regarding the current air transport system, UAM is complementary to airplanes for short distance trips within urban and interurban areas, while being a competing mode for helicopters. This is because, though they are comparable transport modes to helicopters, they are rather environmentally friendly and more convenient. Coastal shipping and seaplanes are less likely to compete with UAM, while cruise ships are of no relevance to the operations and services of UAM because they provide unique kinds of services, like providing round trips for expeditions. Finally, land transportation can be considered either competitive or complementary to UAM for trips within urban and interurban areas. Typically, the use of cars and trucks is not as fast as UAVs, which make air transport competitive. But some people will still consider car rides for less than an hour trip, whilst others may choose UAM for intercity trips rather than using public transport. Whether UAM is a competitor or complement to land transportation would depend on the distance, characteristics, and region networks, and an increase in the market share to mitigate ground congestion. Safety issues and public acceptance have impacted the development of UAM. However, the adaptation of UAM may possibly be an alternative future generation air transportation system to connect transport nodes such as city centers and airports, as well as facilitate fast transfers between convenience options for crossing water bodies. It will be crucial for the public to accept and embrace UAM services to ensure its effectiveness. These are the references for my presentation. For further insight, you can read through the articles. Thank you once again for your attention.